we'll begin with Sigma Huda, the first UN Special Rapporteur on trafficking in person. Sigma holds a law degree from the University of Peshawar and became an advocate at the Supreme Court of Bangladesh in 1972. She founded several NGOs, including the Bangladesh Women Lawyers Association and Acid Survivors Foundation. She is a member of the National Council for Women in Development and has held significant positions in the Bangladesh Bar Council. Sigma, please go ahead. The screen is yours.
Thank you, Malinda. And good evening to all. It's 8 o'clock at our place, past 8 o'clock. So it's good night also, you could say. Anyway, I'll talk to you about the human trafficking position in Bangladesh. We have taken it very seriously in Bangladesh, the NGOs and the government also, that this is a crime against humanity and we have to do something about it. Even though the SAARC, the SAARC convention was set up in 2002, yet it is sad to say that we did not manage to make much inroads into implementation of the SAARC convention. We feel that trafficking persons is actually due to economic reasons. When the girls are out in the lurch because they are abandoned or they have nowhere else to go, so that's the time when they are approached by the traffickers and they are made to lured into good jobs or prospects of good jobs and then find themselves into sexual exploitation. It's with girls and with 92% of the trafficked persons are women and children. So that will give you the magnitude of the whole thing. When you find that in the last 5 years, it was seen that about 13,000 women and children were trafficked across, and only 4,000 were rescued by us. We have been working into the issue of trafficking for a long period. First, it started with the camel jockeys, and there were a lot of young children below 3 years of age who were taken away, lured into Middle East, and made to run races for the sheikh owners, for the Saudi owners, or for the Dubai or Omanis owners. And of course, we were successful in stopping it. Now they've got robots, little toys, rag dolls that are fitted with batteries to do the racing for them, and they're quite happy with it, and we are also happy with it. We found that in Bangladesh, I'm going to talk about Bangladesh, and every country has its number of trafficked victims, survivors, but I'll talk about Bangladesh. And in Bangladesh, I've seen that the highest number of cases of human trafficking are from 7 districts, and these districts are Maniganj, Faridpur, Narar, Janada, Shariatpur, Brahmanbari, and Habiganj. So most of these people have been trafficked into Middle East, into so-called employment, domestic employment, but they were not. They were lured with the talk that they're going to go into carpet factories or they're going to go into mills and industries to work for as labor workforce, but they turned out to be working at homes and then exploited. And the risk of human trafficking is very high because we are on the 3 sides. We have got India, so it's very porous borders, and even till today, even with the walls fenced in, the borders being closed and fenced in by India, still there's the people who are trafficked can still go across the borders and with easily. And add to our Bangladeshis who are trafficked, we also have the Rohingyas who are being trafficked right now. The Rohingyas are also going through riverside, through the Bay of Bengal and on to Bombay and so on and so forth. And they find themselves in the Middle East, again exploited. So Rohingya girls are also sort of susceptible to trafficking. And some areas of Bangladesh are the hubs of trafficking, as I said earlier. And trafficking gangs are working in these areas, and they lure the residents in various ways. They lure their captives or people who are susceptible to trafficking to come along with them. We have, from my organization, we have found that women are the most victims of human trafficking, and the most common reasons for human trafficking were in the hope of a better life and more financial prosperity. And according to the police headquarters, a total of 6,434 cases have been registered across the country from 2004 to July 2023. 24,504 accused. In these cases, only 10,928 were arrested, 804 cases were settled, 233 were convicted, and the penalty amount is only 3.74% of the total convictions. BCHR, our organization, repatriated a total of 42 people in the country from Middle East since January 2023. And our organization has also done a lot to prevent human trafficking and child marriage is by creating awareness in the community to prevent human trafficking and child marriage, repatriation, and we are also doing the prosecution and persecution. And then we are giving shelter support and legal support. And we are also seeking compensation for the, I'm sorry, my voice is very low. Can you hear me now? And we
yes,
also,
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Because somebody from Andhra Pradesh was not being able to hear me. So anyway, compensation to victims. We also tried to get that. And the way we do the awareness and advocacy, we try to get survivors. We need to have participation of the survivors to involve them in to curb trafficking, is because they have come out of this from this trafficked place, and they have been rescued or they have come out on their own, and now they are campaigners and very strong campaigners, and they're easily able to reach out to the people and make them feel more sincere than people like us talking. We are just NGOs activists that we're working on, talking about trafficking. But the victims themselves, when they become survivors and when they are themselves talking and pleading that this is the situation, because there are a lot of people who think going into prostitution is good fun, but later on they find themselves that no, it's not good fun. They're stuck in a vice and they can't come out of it. It's like a trap. Even if they want to come out of it, they can't come out of it. So this is where the survivors come in and they try to help them to come out. And we've had a lot of prostitutes coming out as survivors and working with us again in return. So we have what we suggest. I would suggest some recommendations. I don't know if 5 minutes is over or not, but because I'm not timing myself. So we have said that there have been a lot of laws in Bangladesh relating to trafficking, because we have taken this up very seriously. How much convictions are there is irrelevant, because it's a long delay in disposal of cases makes the victims not come forward, or maybe the witnesses who are there, they don't want to come. They're also frightened because the traffickers are very strong and they're always one step ahead of the law, and they know how to get around the law and the law enforcing agents. And so it's very difficult to get the witnesses to come to depose in the courts of law. So we have a lot of laws, especially in 2000, we had this law called human trafficking, we call the Penal Code, and the Women and Children Repression Prevention Act is Nari Shishu Nirjaton Ain. And then where capital punishment has been given as the highest penalty for trafficking women and children. Then besides this, we have the Suppression of Immoral Trafficking Act, like all across Southasia. That is in 1933, it was enacted by the British, but it was not being able to be implemented, and there are a lot of anomalies in that law itself. They define brothels, but they don't make prostitution illegal. So a lot of things are there. And we made a new law, that's why in 2012, the Human Trafficking Prevention and Suppression Act. And in 2002, we did the convention, regional convention, which did not work. It worked. It recognized a very important need, that is the need of cooperation for preventing cross-border trafficking. Cooperation amongst the SAARC region is extremely needed, because from Bangladesh, if it's a source country, it's also a transit country. Nepal, India is also a source country, a transit country. Pakistan is also a source country, transit country. So is Colombo, and so is Sri Lanka, and so are other countries too. Nepal is a source country. So when you have source and transit and are both there prevailing, the cooperation is very, very much needed. Unfortunately, the SAARC convention did not materialize in the sense that it was not implemented for political reasons of SAARC getting slowed down due to India-Pakistan conflict, which is why we couldn't get along with the SAARC objectives properly. So we hope that let SAARC have a political implication if they want to, but let the regional conventions that have been made for better understanding, for better relationship, that should go on. Like for the cultural ties, for controlling trafficking and other crimes, transnational crimes, because these are all transnational crimes and these are all one of the serious crimes, like drug trafficking, arms smuggling, these are all happening. So if we stop that, let the SAARC go in its own political way, we should make our
right.
We should make our we should make our convictions come alive realistically. So we have these laws, and we have decided that
this meeting is being recorded.
Sorry. And because of these reasons, that because of the obstacles in implementing prosecution and persecution, we need to go around it. So sometimes the court tries to settle, and now we have a new law, the Child Marriage Restraint Act, in which it has said that for exceptional circumstances, a child can be married off at a tender age. And this is where rape has taken place or where trafficking has been taking place. The trafficked victim can be married off to the trafficker. It's not an answer. That's not an answer to the solution. Getting the woman, little girl to get married to a trafficker is not the answer, or to the rapist is not the answer, but our judges are doing that with impunity. Bangladeshi women are, though they are very prominent in public life, you can see them in schools, colleges, working at mills, working as teachers, moving around the city, you can see them. But yet they're the largest number of persons who are trafficked into other countries, or even internally, not just outside. We have, what I liked was to get these women, the survivors, together to form a platform of their own where they can talk about the problems that they faced after being trafficked or even after being recovered, rescued. Because when we rescue these girls from their captivity or whichever situation they are in, we find that they are again targeted a second time over because they are not rehabilitated properly. They're not taken into, they do not merge into the mainstream society, which is a problem here. And also the police are law enforcing agents think of them as loose women. So when they get into police stations to complain, they're again harassed all over again. So they become reticent and they become shy and they become again dormouse to get trampled upon second time over. So we do face that problem. And we have, I did a case for the women in prostitution. They were evicted from their brothels. And so I had done a case, but unfortunately, the court thought that since I was fighting for their rights as to live in their homes of their choice, the law enforcing agency were ousting them and pushing them into correctional homes or into destitute homes, vagrant homes. But the court misunderstood the whole idea behind it. And they've said that, oh, so prostitution is legal and the government has no right to. When the prostitution is not legal or it's murky, I won't say it's illegal either, it's murky atmosphere. So we are having a problem with that. So we need to work together in more cooperation, close cooperation regionally, if you really want to make an inroad into the trafficking situation to eradicate. We won't be able to eradicate in totality because it's a centuries old problem, the trafficking. It has not just come just within a day or two with modernism or with closer cooperation between countries. No, it has been there always. So I think we really need to look more, now Sapan can act here to look for more cooperation amongst the South Asian region and the countries where they're pushed into, like the Middle East or Japan or Korea. And in China, and then work in a regional cooperation that way, in a greater regional cooperation. Rushing through 3 minutes is too fast for me.
Right. I know. Yeah, it's, as you mentioned, it's a centuries-old problem. It's not going to go away tomorrow. And conversations on the subject and interventions on all these issues will continue, and they have to continue. And the work that all of you do are very important, and the thoughts that you share will probably be reflected on by all of us. Namrata?
Well, there was in the question in the chat, what is Palermo Protocol that we are talking about? The protocol that we are talking about. So it's actually a protocol to supplement the convention for prevention and suppression and punishment in trafficking in persons. So this is a Palermo Protocol, which is actually giving strength to the convention, because you can act on it. You can, and I think that is what whoever was the person who questioned it, I think it should be satisfied with this answer.